Hi, my name is Tina, I'm head of design of VectoriaDesigns. This video contains all the tutorials for the Christmas project pack. I will show you how to make the regular journal, the envelope journal, the moving Christmas cards, the advent calendar and the tag box. If you would like to discover this pack in our shop, I will put a link below where you can find it, and I will also put a link below to a video that shows you exactly what you will receive when you buy this project pack. In this video I used the staple method to bind the journal. For those who like to sew their journals, I included some sewing spines also, the printables for that, but I don't show in the tutorials how to do that. If you don't want to print full color like I did for all the tutorials, you can also use the ink savers to print on tea-dyed paper or on beige paper, like light colored paper, or you can use the templates to print on any colored paper that you like. So there's an infinite amount of possibilities to use this pack. Oh yes, in the heat of crafting, I seem to have managed to put in a few wrong words here and there. I even managed to say double-sided glue. Yeah, I actually did that. But in any case, let's get started. So I'm going to make the 7¼ inch high journal, that is the middle size journal. I cut the 3 pieces of cardboard for the cover already. Now all the sizes will be in inch and centimeter on the PDF delivered with your project pack, so don't worry about this. For this one it is 7¼ inch high by 5, and those two of course, and this one is 7¼ by 1 inch. At first I'm going to cover this front and back. So I already cut 2 cover pieces from the project pack, cover pieces for the 7¼ inch journal. And let me show you with one piece first. Double-sided tape all along the edges of the cardboard. Go right to the edges. And give it a good rub, make it a good bond always. You want this thing to stick. Don't worry about this piece. I'll cover it up with some other glue. There. Remove the backings. Now for the center I usually use Fabri-Tac, but now I've become a fan of a glue stick with some strong glue. This is Spritz Power Glue. It's just way faster, no mess. Look at me go. It is quite a strong glue, but it dries very quickly, so you need to act immediately. And then put it in place in the center. And I once used this to glue an ornament on my shoe that fell off, and it kept holding for a few weeks. So if this holds something on my shoe, I'm sure it'll hold this also. And it's just a lot quicker. Now you see there's a little bit extra on the corners. I did that on purpose. Now this is too much because I used 1mm cardboard. I'm going to trim this so there's about 1mm extra next to the corner. So we can hide the corner. Why did I provide more than 1mm? Well, sometimes people like to use really sturdy covers like 2mm cardboard. Well, then you can use it. Next task. Fold these over. Now, right, I've got to tell you, I used 160 grams paper for this. That's about 59 cover. This is actually too heavy. You don't need to use that. I think I made a mistake with these. You can easily use 80 grams paper, the regular stuff that you put in your printer to print a letter or something. That works equally well, even easier. But I made a mistake and I'm going to use it, so I should use my muscles a bit more. Okay, I'm pre-folding these. And then I'm going to attach double-sided tape to these 4 tabs. There we go. I'm using 3/8 of an inch double-sided tape right now. So all 4 tabs have double-sided tape on them. There. Then I'm going to fold it over and really push it against the cardboard, especially with this being so heavy paper. And then make sure you don't have any air pockets, because that would be a shame. Like these. Do that on all 4 sides. There we go. That's the front. I'm going to do the same with the back. So I made 2 cover pieces, one for the front and one for the back. And I'm going to show you how to add ribbons for your closure. You don't need ribbons or any type of closure for these. This book will close well enough by itself. But if you would like to use some ribbons, now is the time to do so. So I cut 2 ribbons that are about 12 inches long. Better make it too long, then you can cut a bit off if necessary. So I'm going to measure half. Same on this side. This is correct. Yeah. So I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape here. I'm going to leave an 1/8 of an inch here, because this piece will be bare and otherwise it will stick the whole time. I'm gonna do the same one piece here, this. And when I take the backing off, I can see the marking again. And I'm just going to glue this piece in there, that's all. Gonna do the same on the other side. Like this. And that's basically it. And now, if you like, you can add the inside covers. I already cut them, and you can choose any of the designs that you like. You can use any paper that you like if you just use the right measurements. But before I'm going to apply it, I'm going to put this piece away. This piece will be the front cover, and I want to add a label to the front, a label holder. So if you want to do that yourself, you can glue a label on it, of course, but if you want to use a label holder that needs brads to stay in place, now is the time to do so. I'm going to make some markings. I'm going to punch some holes where I did my markings. Here. Make them large enough to fit the brads. Okay, now I need 4 brads. These are very small and these are vintagey brass colored, so perfect. They look old, that's what I want. And then just apply these through the holes. Split open their legs. These are quite sturdy actually. And do this with all the holes that your label holder has. And now that this is done, I'm going to add 4 small pieces over these legs, so everything on there will be protected. There, I'm going to leave this for a moment, my second one here, and now I'm going to prepare the inside covers to be attached. Now before I'm going to do that, I would love to give this a bit of ink on the edges. Not a massive amount, but just a little bit to hide those white sides, you see. And I am using my favorite color, Antique Linen. It's kind of a beigey color, as you can see here. And now I'm going to attach double-sided tape. Really make sure you apply the double-sided tape right next to the edge, because you don't want that to come loose. Okay, then remove the backing. And apply some glue in the center. You can of course use full sheet double-sided tape. Is it tape? I don't know. Is it double-sided sticky paper? But I think this is easy too and less costly. I'm gonna apply my glue. You can use any type of glue that you like, providing that it sticks. And then put this smack down in the middle when you're sure. And there we go. This is the back cover. And you see, this ribbon isn't going anywhere. I'm going to do the same on the other side, on the front cover. Remove these little backings. And then put this piece into place like this. There we go. That's your front cover and the back cover. Done. Okay, how do we turn this into a book? Here's our middle piece. We're not going to cover it because we're going to attach all these with tape. This is packing tape. I've used it before. I really like it. The width is almost 2 inches and I really recommend to at least have that width. They have so many tapes these days. Just choose one that you like. This is just paper tape, but it sticks really well. I'm going to take a piece that is a bit more than twice the height. There. And then I'm going to lay it like this, sticky side up. And right in the middle, as straight as possible, glue this one down. Make sure you have the same width on both ends. Measure if you must, because this really needs to go well. Okay, quite good. And then I'm going to apply the back cover. And I'm going to leave a 1 millimeter gap on 1/16 of an inch. Like this. Then I'm going to apply the front cover. If you don't use ribbons, make sure you know which side is up before you have an upside down book. We don't want that. Okie dokie. Then fold one of the ends up carefully, because I kind of like the inside being pretty also. Okay, this is way too much. Oh no, 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 no. See what I did? I cut that off too early and now look at this. It is a fraction too short. I can't believe it. But no, okay, no harm done. Just going to add a little bit more, but yeah, that shouldn't have happened. My bad. Learn from my mistakes, please. And then really rub this down. And important, go in those gaps with your bone folder. On both sides. And now you have a cover that folds very well and is very flexible, you see? And that's what I like. And you can even close it with a ribbon. And now, how to attach those beautiful pages inside that cover? Well, as I mentioned before, I have a staple method that works really well. And I'm going to show you here. You need another piece of cardboard. This one is also 7.25 high, so the same height as your journal, but instead of 1 inch wide, it's only 7/8 inches wide. And then I have here a template that I printed on craft paper. to show you where the holes are. I immediately use this paper to cover this piece as well, because this one will show quite a bit. But you can easily use this tape to cover this as well and measure out where the holes are. But I'm going to show you how to do it with this template. Then you can print it on any type of paper that you like. Don't make the paper too thick. I think this is 160 grams also. Don't need to cut this out very neatly, because you won't see that. Okay, now I'm going to make sure these markings will be on the inside so you won't see them. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to lightly punch those little holes so I can see where they are. And then I'm going to apply double-sided tape all over this cardboard. There's still a little bit showing, but I'm going to use my glue for that. If you want to use double-sided tape, first remove these two and add a strip above. Okay. And then, when it's covered in glue and double-sided tape and whatever, really line it up with the rectangle in the center. Fold these over, these tabs, and just like you did with the outer cover pieces, apply some double-sided tape and fold them over. Now for the cardboard in here, I also use 1 mm thick cardboard, but actually it's even a bit easier if you use lighter cardboard, like from a cereal box or something. Okay, I can still lightly see the 6 holes that I made. And now I'm going to punch them all the way through. Okay, so I punched them the whole way through, but of course, if we're going to use staples, we need extra holes. I didn't put the extra holes on the template because there are staples that are wider or smaller, and this way you won't make any wrong holes. Just take a staple that you like to use and then use it as a template to make the separate hole. If you want to be really sure that your second holes are going to be very straight, first connect those holes with a ruler and a pencil. And then you can erase them. So there. Here we go, we have an inner spine with a bunch of holes and we're going to use 6 staples. Now the pages that go inside the journal also need to have these exact holes. Here are all the pages that I want inside my journal. For this journal I printed all the pages, all 24 pages that are in this kit for this journal cover. They say 725, but that's the type of journal that it goes into, because the pages themselves are 9.5 by 7. They're a bit smaller, but I used the size of the journal, the height of the journal on all the file names and on all the pages, so that you know which items are for which of the 3 sizes of the journal. Okay, so I have here 24 pages and I printed some neutral page on the back also, and I divided them in 3, so each of these piles are 8 pages. I think that's going to be enough. And also I printed these on regular weight paper, so 80 grams paper, the normal stuff that everyone has in their printer. And now I need to have these holes in this center. To do that, let me show you with one. I'm going to take my pile and I'm going to carefully fold it in half to find the center. Okay. And now I'm just going to use this template to find my center holes here. If you want to make sure these won't move, just add some binder clips. And then I'm going to turn this like this. Line this one up. Now this piece is 1/4 inch larger, higher than this. So make sure you can eyeball this to have 1/8 inch on each side. And then I'm going to, yep, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you don't trust your eyeballs, measure. Now a little tip, because I used an awl to make these holes in the center, on the back where you punch through, are not very pretty. Well, just take the middle page, turn it over, and these holes look a lot better from this side. Just fold it the other way, and there you go. Much prettier. Okay, do this with all your 3 signatures. Okay, I have my 3 signatures with holes right here. What I also did was I cut these sides flush. You don't have to do that, that's totally optional, but it gives a cleaner look. For this you can use a metal ruler and a heavy-duty craft knife with a sharp blade. Change the blade if necessary. Line up the ruler and just softly keep pushing the blade. Not pushing, just sliding the blade across the papers, and one by one they will fall off. I did it a bit easier. I have a heavy-duty guillotine trimmer. Just put it in, ready. The next task is to attach these 3 to this piece. And I'm going to do that with the staples. This is a bit of work that I wish I had some nails for, but I don't. So it's a bit fiddly. Take a signature, take a staple, open the signature, put the staple on the inside and push it through the holes to the outside. There. From inside out, very important. Then take your spine and front to back, push those legs of the staple through. And when it's through, take your nails or something sharp or something heavy, not sharp, and bend those nails like that. And then this is attached to that. That's how it is. And on the other side the same. Take your staple inside out and through the holes in the inner spine, like this. Don't worry about this, this piece will be hidden away. So the only part of the staples that you will see is the nice part. And then, when you have one book, very important, carefully fold it one side, then the other side, like this, so that your booklet can move. And then do the same with the other ones, here and here. I put in all 3 signatures, that is, I changed my mind a little bit. Instead of the 3rd signature, I decided to put one of the advent calendars in the center of this journal. You see, there are little advent calendars for in journals. The smallest one is this one for in the 725 journals. There's a little bit larger one also. I applied all these little advent calendar pockets to a very sturdy piece of paper. These papers are also included in the kit with some placeholders on them to place these pockets on there. And in these pockets you can put a little note where they can find their little gift. So I put this smack in the middle instead of the middle one, and there we have it. I have my inner spine with the pages attached. I have my cover, and now it's time to just glue this thing in here. And this thing needs to stick like something that has never stuck before. Now I'm going to apply double-sided tape all over, like really all over. It's a bit tricky like this, but I couldn't do it before. Okay. Really rub these. Make sure this really sticks. Remove the backing of those two. No matter the size, the width of your tape, just make sure it's completely filled. So I'm going to apply that piece all over in the center. There. What I also like to do, this is just a precaution, is put a little tape on top and the bottom in this direction. Just to make sure it won't come loose there. And the last thing I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use my fabric tag all over. Oh, no, I'm not going to put it on here. I'm going to put it here in the center. I have made several journals like this and none of them have come loose. They're really, really stuck. And then last thing to do is place this in the middle, push it down real good. Very important, let this dry thoroughly before using it. And there you have it, a very pretty journal, a sturdy journal that can be filled with ephemera and embellishments and memories, all as you wish. There. Now let me show you how to make the envelope journal. It's the same as a regular journal, but instead of pages, you will have envelopes that can hold letters that you write to your future self or your past self, or letters that you write to that special friend that will receive this very cute handmade gift. And I made it so that you can make letter journals out of the 3 sizes of covers that I provided for the regular journals. So, and in this tutorial, I'm going to make the small journal, this really cute small 5-inch high journal. And I already made the beginnings of the cover just like I did with the regular journal. So the outer covers are glued onto the cardboard. The inner spine is glued in the center with some tape, and I added some ribbons. And now I'm going to show you how to attach the envelopes. And I'm simply going to do that with tabs. Now there are templates in this project pack that you can print on craft paper like I did. It shows you where to score the lines. And when you score these, you will have 6 tabs. So I printed this on 160 grams craft paper. Let me put this aside. And you can score this with some tool, but it is very easy to just score it on a scoreboard on 1/2 inch and then quarter, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, oops, don't score too hard. 1/4, 8, etc. And these 1/2 inch pieces on the sides are just to attach the whole spine into the cover. And there are spines for all 3 journals. Before I'm going to start folding this spine, I'm going to attach double-sided tape. And I'm going to use 1/4 inch double-sided tape because it fits perfectly into these. So. You don't have to put a piece of tape on every 1/4 inch item. Every other one is perfect. This. So that makes 6 pieces. Doing this beforehand will make it a lot easier. Now, how to fold this? I'm going to turn my tape down, and then the first one goes up. The second one goes down and up. Now let me use crafter's language. This is a valley fold. This is a mountain fold. This is back a valley fold. And then again another valley fold. So valley, mountain, valley, valley. Then again mountain, valley, valley. Mountain, valley, valley. And keep doing that over and over again until you reach the end. So mountain. Okay, so as you see, valley, start with a valley and then mountain, valley, valley, 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 mountain, valley. Okay, so remove the tape and glue. Glue it next to the other tapeless piece of a 1/4 inch. It's teeny tiny anyway. Okay. So keep doing that. Last one. Like this. Like you see, now you have 6 tabs. Fold them all one side and then fold them all the other side so that these hinges, because this is a hinge now, these are hinges now I mean, can fold left and right. This piece will be glued in here, like this. And then we're going to cover that with the inside covers. To glue this, add loads of double-sided tape on this back. I'm going to use my wider tape. Remove the backing. I'm gonna add a little piece here also between those two, like this. Try not to get stuck yourself. And just like in the first journal, I'm going to add some extra strong glue in here also, just to be sure. This spine is a little less long than the cover. So squeeze it, and then carefully fold the tabs the other side also. And now I'm going to attach my inside covers. I already added some double-sided tape on the edges. This is just like before. Glue stick. And then keep an 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeter border all around. Like this. So where the hinge is attached is neatly hidden under the inner cover. You can ink these edges if you like, of course. I'm going to repeat that with the other. And there, the cover is done. Of course, let this fully dry before using it, but we're going to attach the envelopes already anyway. Yes, go into those gaps before creasing it. There. There are 6 envelopes that will fit in this book on these hinges. 6 different designs. And I cut them all out. You can print a bit of color on the back if you like. There are also ink saver versions for these, and there are templates for these. Say you want all red envelopes, just print on red paper and cut out and make them. But I'm going to show you these ones. So actually very simple. Just score from corner to corner to corner to corner. And do this with all envelopes, corner to corner. Oh yeah, I printed these on 160 grams paper. You don't have to do that, but this way they will be sturdy and you can keep putting letters in and out the envelopes without them going, yeah, crumply, wrinkly. So just score from corner to corner to corner. Fold the side tabs in, fold the bottom tab up, and then you can fold the top flap down. And this is your envelope, just like this, front and back, neatly designed. Now to close this, I'm just going to use my glue. You can also use tape, of course, if you like. And I'm going to see a bit where my tape should go, right under this tab here also. Yeah, and then hold it for a while if you're using glue. To attach the envelope to this tab, I'm going to put double-sided tape, also the 1/4 inch size, on the front of each tab. You can do that beforehand also, of course, but for some reason I always get confused with what's the back, what's the front, and I keep removing the wrong tapes, etc. So, and then peel it off and just stick it on. You choose whether you stick it on the front on this side or the back on this side. And there you have it, your first page for your envelope book. Now let me do all the rest just the same way. And so this is the lovely envelope book when finished. If I open it, you will see 6 beautiful envelope pages in a row where you can put a nice letter in. Letters like these ones. These ones, dear past me, dear future me. And they fold perfectly to be put in these envelopes. Let me show you. Fits perfectly right in there. The idea is that you can write letters to yourself, to your future self, put this away for a year, for 5 years, and then read them again. Or indeed just write beautiful letters to a friend. And you, of course, can embellish this journal as you like. And perhaps add some pockets inside also. Now, a few remarks if you would like to make the largest journal, so this 875-inch journal, or the mid-sized journal, the 725-inch journal. Now, for the large journal, you will find the hinges like this. And you can use them as one and make a long set of hinges, but I don't have envelopes for that in the kit because they are so large. But you can use it as like that if you can find some envelopes elsewhere to put in here. But I made them so you can also cut them in half and make 2 very small hinges that can hold very small envelopes, and those envelopes are in this kit. So just cut in half, make the hinges, put one here, put one here, and then you can put some very small envelopes in there. So this is the size of the large journal, by the way. And the envelopes for the 725 size journal, I needed to put in 2 parts, like this part and this part, because they wouldn't fit on one page. Actually, just cut this out, then you cut this part out, and this part, the bottom flap, has also a tab. Put some double-sided glue on there, and then just glue this part on the tab, and then you have one large envelope. Just wanted to show you that. So in this kit are also moving Christmas cards. There's an outer part, the cards themselves, and a box envelope to put it in, but I'm going to put that aside for a while. I printed these on 160 grams paper. For this project, it's really important to use sturdy paper. So 160 grams or 59 cover paper. So these come in 4 different designs, so 4 to choose from, and they all have a matching box envelope. So there are 4 box envelopes also. These come in ink savers, these come as templates. If you want, in the summer, you want to make one, just use scrapbook paper and print a template on top. Okay, first task is to cut these out. I'm gonna cut these 2 out and these 2 also. So these are the 4 pieces that you get, the 2 cards, and this is the outside. I'm going to put the 2 cards a bit on the side. I'm going to concentrate on this part. Now, this is white because it will be within the mechanism and you won't see it at all, but very important, I advise you to fortify this piece. So this is 160 grams paper. I cut this piece, just this one, the top half of this T shape doesn't matter, but I just cut this piece in 300 grams paper. Use a piece of scrapbooking paper that's very, very sturdy, or even light cardboard, but do it. It's very important. Otherwise, you're going to use your card 10 times, very nice, and then this might fold over and then it's done. It doesn't work anymore. So this is a piece from my previous project pack, the Life Notes project pack. I accidentally printed that on 300 grams of paper, but I kept it because the weight is very good. I'm going to attach that with some double-sided tape and glue. So, a bit of glue in the center, and then you can use double-sided tape all over if you like, and just put it on here. Okay, if it doesn't completely match up, it doesn't matter, just trim the sides a little bit. So, and then the next step is to score these 6 lines. These 2, and these 2. Make sure to be precise, because it's very important for this project to work. By the way, a little tip. I made the measurements for all my designs exactly as is described, but I noticed a printer doesn't always print the right size. If I put my printer on 100%, it will print too large. I've learned with one of my printers, when I put it to 98%, it prints perfectly. The other one I have to put on 97% to print perfectly. So it's best to get to know your printer before starting to print. Okay, and then fold these lines. Make sharp, crisp folds. Be gentle and sharp at the same time. Put some double-sided tape on the not printed side of this tab against the fold. If there's some left over on the top, that's okay, but against the fold. Remove the backing and glue this part in here. Now make sure your folds go the same way. This all folds inward, this folds inward too. Now make sure to line up. Okay, here we go. So, and then I advise, you don't have to do that, but I advise to add some ink to these edges, all the edges by the way, so you won't see them. Just the edges will do. Just a little bit, or more, go nuts if you like, of course. Just to hide that this was once a white sheet of paper. Yeah, this part you don't have to ink, you really won't see it. Now, do you see that arrow there? Well, this place, you can make a notch with a 1-inch circle punch, or you can just cut it out like the half of the circle. That's where you're going to pull your first card out. Now, how does this card move? It doesn't move by itself. You need a bit of plastic for this. And I assure you, our world has more than enough excess plastic, so please don't go buy something or cut into something new. So I got this plastic from, I think, something that I bought in IKEA. I'm going to cut this open. You don't have to be neat for this. About right is more than right enough. Some other types of good plastic is the ones that magazines are wrapped in if it's sturdy enough. It just has to be very flexible and smooth. Try to use something that you would throw away anyway. This would have gone in the bin immediately after unpacking the thing from IKEA. But now I thought, hey, I can use this. So I'm going to cut a strip of plastic that fits in here. So the max height is from here to here. I think I have to cut a bit off. And a bit more than twice this length. So, okay, I'm going to wrap this around here. Okay, that's more than enough space. And I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape to close the plastic piece. This. It can be tricky to apply double-sided tape to plastic. Can be a bit fiddly. It's not like paper. Okay, so I'm going to close this firmly, but not too tight so it can move. Okay, good. So yeah, make sure it's not too tight. And then cut off the excess. Okay, now I'm going to slide this piece of tape a bit almost to the right, about an inch from, about half an inch to an inch from that side. And that's important to make this piece work very good, because this piece will be a bit harder to move around those edges. And that's why I'm going to make sure it doesn't need to move around those edges in the first place. So make sure this piece is about here. Even further if you like. You see, you can just move it. And I'm going to put another piece of double-sided tape over this part. And there's where I'm going to attach my card number 1. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put another piece of double-sided tape about here on the plastic also. So there's one piece here on the left, there's another piece there on the left. I'm going to put this aside for a while because now first I'm going to make my cards. I'm going to fold them in half. This. And this way the card is more sturdy and also it is printed on both sides. To close this card, I'm going to apply some double-sided tape all around the edges. I really like neat edges. Okay, and then close the card. And if you see some white edges, because no one's perfect, just trim them off. Check both sides. And or ink your edges as well. Now you don't need to ink this part because you won't see it. There, I'm going to make the other card the same way. Now, how to attach these cards? So we have a piece of tape here on the side, left side, and here on the left side also. This piece would pull, you see it like this, turn to your right. We're going to attach right here, flush with these sides and just against this fold. So I'm going to remove this double-sided tape. I'm going to position my card perfectly before I put it down. Make sure it's flush with the sides. There we go. Yep, that's card number 1. So make sure this pull is on the same side as this half circle. We're going to pull like this. Now we're going to turn this over, and this pull should also be on that side, but flipped around. Okay? Make sure you put it on the right side for these designs anyway. Okay? Pull on that side, flip over, and position it right, and stick it down. So I'm going to turn it back around, and then thanks to the plastic, these two should move very good. Oh, I'm sorry about the sound. Okay, and now it's just a matter of closing this. So I'm going to wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, and this is how it's going to turn out. Always check before you completely close this card. So it's going to work like this. If you see everything's all right, put some double-sided tape and glue on this part and close it. And then nobody can see how you made this card unless they completely rip it apart. So wrap the whole thing up and then just close. Okay, and here is your moving card. And if you pull this end, the other end will come out automatically. This is actually a vertical design. I haven't mentioned that, so it's looking like this. See? I think my type of plastic makes a bit of noise also. It's magic plastic. And then here you can put a message for the receiver. And it works like this. And like I said, there's also a box envelope that will hold this card. There's an envelope for each design. First, I'm going to cut all this out. Then I'm going to score all these 8 folding lines. Now, these are not 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch apart, so you really need to move your design on the scoreboard. And before I'm going to fold it, I'm first going to cut this little box with a precision knife. There we go. And now I'm going to fold these scored lines. This is actually a very easy envelope. But it's a bit boxy, so it can hold this thick card. All right. So it folds like this, and then I know I need to add some glue in here. I'm going to put a little bit of a marking just to see where I need to stay with my glue. So you won't see these, so as long as you put your markings behind this flap, you won't see them. All right, going to add some glue. Here you can use double-sided tape if you like. And I'm going to close this envelope. This also on the other side. Doesn't need to be precise as long as you don't add any glue on the other side. Of course, forgot, glue is hold for a while. Okay. And then it just closes like this. And since this envelope is so boxy, it'll fit this card perfectly, like this. And here you go, open it. Sees this card, and we're going to pull. Nice message. And the other side is designed also. What you can also do is attach this card in front of your journal because there's a little bit room for this, or at the back also. Of course, then you will have to glue this so this design goes lost, but it fits perfectly in here. There's room enough for that. Or of course, you just glue this envelope in here. Now let me show you how to make the large advent calendar, the decor piece that you can put in your living room. These I'm going to use as a base, and I'm going to attach these 3 panels with hinges, real hinges, and on there are coming some pockets like these. This is how they would look in the end. Now first I had a whole other model of pocket, but I realized it took so long to make one. You would be making these pockets until Easter. So I made a really simple pocket. You can't put a lot in there, hardly a piece of paper, but that's enough because you don't really need to put a whole treat or toy in here. You can just simply put a little piece of paper in that has a clue written on it where the treat can be found. And this makes it all the more fun. It suddenly becomes a scavenger hunt, because you can be very cryptic with these and use codes, etc. Just really make your house guests work for their treats, okay? I'm going to show you how to make these pockets a bit later. First, I'm going to show you how to make these panels. Let me put these aside. I have 3 large panels of the 1mm cardboard. You can use heavier ones if you like. The ones that work with inches use 11 by 8.5. I used A4s, but I trimmed them a bit because otherwise I couldn't fit my scrapbook paper around it. So, but as you see, normal paper is just hardly enough to cover this. So the back of these I'm going to cover with scrapbook paper. And I have found these linen patterns for the back. Just going to use these. These were originally 12 by 12 inch, but I trimmed them already down a bit. And I'm going to wrap them just as I added the outer covers of the journal. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape all around, glue in the center, and glue them on like this. Then again, I'm going to trim the paper 1mm from the corner. Like this. Crafters, you don't need to use scrapbooking paper for this. You can also use newspapers, wrapping paper, whatever you like. I'm going to pre-fold these because it's very heavy paper. I can feel it. Like this. Then again, I'm going to add some double-sided tape to these edges, to these tabs, I mean. I think, yeah, this. I'm putting the tape right next to the cardboard. There. And I'm going to quickly cut the excess off. Okay, remove the tape, and this time, if you're using heavy paper like I do, really push this paper. Oh my god, this is a workout. Forget weightlifting. This is the new weightlifting. Pulling, I don't know. And then later on, I'm going to cut these to size so that they can fit perfectly with an 1/8 of an inch edge all around. But I'm not going to do that right now. First, I'm going to measure where I want my hinges. So I have 4 of these hinges, 2 between each 2 panels. And I'm going to put them about here. So I'm going to measure where my hinges will come. And I think I want them 2 inches from the side. Just going to put markings in the holes, and the same on the other side. 2 inches from the other side. There. And I'm gonna punch my holes first. And make good size holes because brads need to be put through them. Like this. So do this with every panel, wrap the whole pack and add holes where your brads will come for the hinges, and in the center panel you want them on either side. I'm going to finish that now. I covered all 3 panels. This goes like this, and they have holes like this. The middle one on each side and the side ones on one side. And now I'm going to attach the hinges like these. I found these in a regular hardware store, and I just looked at the holes to see if my brads would fit. And I'm going to use golden brads. Oh yeah, before you cut your holes, make sure that this middle part, this round middle part, comes next to the edge. So not on the cardboard, but next to the cardboard. And now I'm simply going to put my brads through the hole, and on the other side I'm going to spread the legs up and down, and this way when we will add the cover paper later, it will cover these legs. That's the whole idea. Like this. And I'm going to do that with all these hinges and attach them to each other. Okay, I attached all 3 panels to each other with the brads and the hinges, like this. And I added a bit of double-sided tape on the top to protect the paper that I'm going to put on top. And I already cut these 3 papers to size. Now these 3 are in the paper pack portion of this kit also. And I'm going to lay them out, I think, like this. And I'm going to start with the middle one. I'm going to remove first these few tabs, these backings. This is just another layer of protection for the paper against the metal. Then I'm gonna put this aside for a bit so I have room to add glue to this paper. And then I'm going to position it right over these. There you go. First paper is in place. And do the same with the ones on the side. And now my 3 panels are ready. You can put them like this, or you can put them like this in your living room. And now it's time to attach these little pockets, and you can put them wherever you like. So there's 3 panels. You need to have one with 8, one with 8, and one with 9 pockets, and they should fit all on there. You can position them right as you want. To make these pockets is very, very easy. Let me cut this out and I will show you. I already made all the other ones. So there's basically just 2 folding lines. Fold them in. Put a piece of tape on the inside of these edges. The narrower the tape, narrower, what a word. The more narrow the tape, the more room there is for a little note. There, and just close, and your envelope is ready. To close these, ideally you would use some kind of removable glue dots so you can open and close them, but I can't seem to find them in Belgium, even online. So I'm just going to leave them open. You can also close these permanently, but when you open them, they will be a bit damaged. If you use some type of glue or glue dots that can be repositioned or removed, then you can use this one over and over again. So now I'm going to position these on my board. Oh yes, as I explained earlier with the journal, I numbered these 1 to 25. And you can choose if you count down, so from 25 days till Christmas, etc, 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 or you use these as day numbers, so this is the 1st of December, etc. I'm going to do that, but you can choose for yourself. And I'm just going to make a layout here. Make sure there's 8 or 9 per page. So, and to attach these, just put some double-sided tape on the back. You see the back is not printed because you won't see that, and that would be a waste of ink. This all the way around, so they will be stuck firmly to the panels. So remove these, bring this back. Oh, it's chaos already. And the placement really doesn't matter, but I like it to be straight. That's not entirely straight, but that's good enough. All right, there. I'm going to attach all of these. So this is what it looks like finished. Of course, the envelopes aren't closed, but you can put it like this in your living room. Now, if you don't have any hinges or you don't want to use any hinges, you can always use the tape that you used to make the spine to keep these panels together. And these pockets are made the same for the small ones to put in the journal if you like. And the last thing that I want to show you how to make is this little tag holder. There are a bunch of tags in here, blank ones that you can embellish yourself, and some with designs already on them. And I already cut them out and attached some red and white twine. And let me show you how to make this box. It's very easy. So this was the front, and on the back I printed the back design. You can leave that if you want. This will be the inside of the box. That's totally optional. I already cut it all out, and the next task is to score all the scoring lines. And then fold everything inward. So let's start with these tabs. Side panels, and that is it. And I'm going to put some tape on these 4 tabs on the front side. Remove the backings. Gonna start with these 2 first. Just line this edge up with the corner. Same on the other side. This. And then remove these 2 backings. You can remove them all at once, of course. And line them carefully up with these edges. This, like this. I have a neat little tag box, and I left this piece square on purpose so you can do what you want with it. So you can leave it. If you don't like it, you can just cut it off. And if you want to use a decorative punch here, just do it. You can put your tags in here, they fit in here. And then you can take this with you when you start gift wrapping.